What would happen if gravity suddenly started to fail? If a cosmic phenomenon, silent and inevitable, was about to transform the universe before our eyes, and no one could stop it? You wake up one morning. The world outside looks the same, but something seems off. Does the air seem heavier, or would it be lighter? Your body feels a subtle discomfort, as if an invisible force is trying to pull you in opposite directions. You look at the sky, and then you realize the planets are aligned. In a very rare astronomical spectacle, gigantic bodies are positioned on a perfect axis. Astronomers call this a planetary alignment. But contrary to what we always hear, something is not right this time. The ground vibrates beneath your feet. The sky takes on shades you've never seen before. Invisible waves travel through space-time. Satellites start to fall. The seas no longer obey the moon. Something very, very wrong is happening. For decades, scientists dismissed the idea that a simple alignment of planets could cause catastrophic effects. But what if this time they're wrong? What if a failure in calculations, a forgotten detail, or an unknown phenomenon could trigger an event capable of destabilizing our entire solar system? What would happen if the planetary alignment of August 2025 caused a gravitational collapse? If the universe was about to change irreversibly, would you notice the signs in time, or would you only notice it when it was too late? Comment below. Do you think there are phenomena that are already happening, but no one is paying attention? There are theories that suggest this could be real. And in this video, you will discover the signs that could prove that the impossible may already be happening. Get ready, because what comes next could forever change the way you see the universe. You may have heard about planetary alignments, but what does it really mean? Contrary to what many imagine, an alignment does not mean that all the planets are perfectly lined up, forming an absolute straight line. In reality, the planets are positioned within the same sector of the sky, creating a configuration that can be observed from Earth at certain times. This phenomenon happens because each planet orbits the Sun at different speeds and distances, making alignments relatively rare, but not impossible. Science has already mapped several alignments throughout history. In 1962, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn formed an alignment considered significant at the time. In 2000, we had another event involving all the planets visible to the naked eye. And now, in August 2025, a new alignment is expected to take place, sparking the interest of astronomers and universe enthusiasts. But why is this specific event getting so much attention? Alignments alone should not pose a risk. The gravity of the planets is distributed in a balanced way, and the distance between them is so immense that their influence on the Earth is considered insignificant. At least, that's what the calculations say. But what if there was something we still don't fully understand? If we analyze the history of humanity, we will see that there has always been a strange pattern. Ancient civilizations saw alignments as omens of great changes. Epidemics, wars, and even natural catastrophes seem to coincide with these events. Coincidence, or something we still don't fully understand? Traditional science claims that alignments are just astronomical phenomena with no direct physical effects on Earth. But some theories suggest that, under certain circumstances, the sum of gravitational forces can generate distortions in space-time, which could trigger unpredictable events. If the alignments have always existed and never caused any visible disaster, why do some people believe that the one in 2025 could be any different? The answer may lie in the way gravity behaves when multiple celestial bodies interact at the same time. What if we are on the cusp of a discovery that challenges everything we know about the stability of our solar system? In recent years, some Mathematical simulations have suggested that combined gravitational forces can generate minimal oscillations, but sufficient to alter the orbital balance of certain space objects. Small variations may seem insignificant in the short term, but when analyzed on a larger scale, the consequences can be unpredictable. The August 2025 alignment is special because it involves the exact position of massive planets like Jupiter and Saturn, which have immense gravitational fields. And this is where the theory of gravitational collapse starts to become worrying. If invisible forces are acting beyond what we can detect, what could really happen when the planets align in August 2025? Gravity is the force that keeps everything in the universe in order. It is what prevents the Earth from wandering through space, keeps the Moon in its orbit, and controls the movement of the planets around the Sun. But what happens when several massive celestial bodies align? The gravitational interaction between them may intensify in ways we are still trying to understand. Each planet in our solar system exerts a gravitational force on the others, but this influence depends on their mass and the distance between them. Jupiter, for example, is more than 300 times more massive than Earth, and its gravitational field has already been capable of altering the orbit of asteroids and even influencing the trajectory of comets. Saturn, another gas giant, also plays an important role in this cosmic balance. So what happens when these giants enter a configuration that amplifies their gravitational forces? To visualize this simply, imagine a calm lake. Each planet can be seen as a stone thrown into water, generating ripples. Typically, these waves dissipate without major effects. But if several rocks are thrown at the same point, the waves can add up and create a much greater impact. Something similar can happen with gravity during a planetary alignment. Small forces that alone do not represent a danger can combine and generate unexpected effects. Space is not just an infinite void. It is a tissue that can be distorted by gravity. Einstein proved this with the general theory of relativity. Each planet creates a kind of curve in this cosmic fabric, and when several massive bodies interact at the same time, these curvatures can overlap. The question is, could these interactions generate a cascading effect? Some theoretical simulations suggest that certain alignments can generate minimal perturbations in the gravitational stability of the solar system. At first, these disturbances would be imperceptible, but over time, small variations can accumulate and subtly alter the dynamics of planetary orbits. Have you ever stopped to think that everything we know about the universe could be wrong? For centuries, we have trusted calculations, theories, and models that tell us that the solar system is stable, predictable. But what if there is a flaw in that logic? What if we're ignoring a small detail, an invisible variable that could change everything? The truth is, no matter how hard we try to understand the universe, uncertainty was always present. Small forces can create big effects, and gravity, that invisible force that governs everything, can be more unpredictable than we realize. If you value content that explores the unknown, challenges certainties, and reveals truths that few dare question, your like here plays an important role. He is the one who ensures that more people have access to this information, that this type of investigation continues, and that more mysteries of the universe are explored. But now, think about what comes next. What if the Earth's orbit is already undergoing small changes, and no one is noticing? It may seem impossible, but some studies suggest that subtle changes may be happening right now. And the scariest thing, the consequences can be irreversible. Scientists have always maintained that planetary alignment poses no real risk to the stability of the solar system. But this certainty comes from calculations based on what we know so far. What if there are forces that we don't yet fully understand? Some recent computer simulations have begun to question this model. Astrophysics researchers have been testing scenarios where the gravitational interaction between Jupiter and Saturn, the two largest planets in the solar system, could generate minimal disturbances in the orbits of smaller planets, including Earth. Typically, these variations are insignificant, but in an unusual alignment like the one predicted for this year, these effects could be magnified in unexpected ways. A study carried out with advanced gravitational simulation models demonstrated that under certain conditions, the orbital resonance between Jupiter and Saturn can create small fluctuations in the solar system's gravitational field. These subtle shifts can affect long-term stability by slightly altering the trajectories of asteroids, modifying tidal forces, and, in extreme cases, influencing the orbital inclination of some planets. So far, calculations indicate that these effects would be almost imperceptible in the short term. But what would happen if this influence accumulated over time? Small deviations may seem irrelevant now, but over the years, they can trigger significant changes in the structure of the solar system, and there is a detail that makes this hypothesis even more intriguing. Jupiter and Saturn are in specific positions that amplify their gravitational influence. This has happened before, and there is evidence that these events may have played a key role in reorganizing planetary orbits throughout cosmic history. The question that no one can answer with certainty is, could this alignment be the trigger for a new phase of gravitational instability? If the answer is yes, we are facing something that could change the destiny of the Earth forever. Earth's orbit. It appears stable, but the reality is that it has already undergone small natural variations over thousands of years. These changes are part of cycles known as the Milankovitch cycles, which influence the planet's climate over geological eras. However, if a large-scale planetary alignment induced an anomalous change in Earth's trajectory, the effects could be felt much more quickly and catastrophically. A minimal change in orbit would mean that the Earth would receive different amounts of solar radiation. If our planet moved even slightly away from the Sun, global average temperatures would drop, triggering progressive cooling. The result? An accelerated advance of glaciers, transforming entire regions into frozen deserts. Conversely, if the Earth moved a little closer to the Sun, global overheating could make some areas uninhabitable, evaporate large bodies of water, and intensify storms and extreme weather events. But the consequences would not be limited to the climate. Changing the orbit could directly affect the oceans. Sea level, dictated by the balance between evaporation and freezing, would undergo drastic changes. Sea currents that regulate global temperatures could be disrupted, triggering unprecedented violent storms and hurricanes. Tropical regions could turn into arid deserts, while once cold areas could be inundated by sweltering heat. And that's just the beginning. If Earth's orbit changes, the axis of rotation itself may be affected. This would mean unregulated days and nights, sudden changes in seasons, and a direct impact on the planet's magnetic field. A change in Earth's orbit could trigger a chain effect, capable of affecting other planets, and even reconfiguring the structure of our system. The first impact would be felt in the gravitational interaction with the Moon. Our relationship with the satellite is not just visual. It stabilizes the tilt of the Earth's axis and regulates the tides. If Earth's orbit became more elliptical or shifted significantly, the Moon could be dragged onto a new trajectory. This would change the rhythm of the tides, causing unpredictable tsunamis. In an extreme scenario, the Moon could progressively move away, leaving the planet without its natural stabilizer, which would result in completely chaotic seasons. But the influence would not stop there. Small changes in the Earth's position could interfere with the orbit of Mars and Venus, affecting their trajectories around the Sun. If this displacement were large enough, gravity could pull asteroids from the asteroid belt into the inner solar system, exponentially increasing the chance of catastrophic collisions. And what's worse, this gravitational disorder could reach Jupiter and Saturn, the two gas giants that act as Earth's natural shields. Currently, they capture or deflect many comets and asteroids that could hit our planet. But if the solar system's orbital structure were altered, Jupiter could be displaced enough to lose this protective function, leaving Earth vulnerable to devastating impacts. In an extreme scenario, the Sun itself could start losing planets. If the gravitational dance between the stars were altered, some orbits could become unstable to the point of ejecting planets out of the solar system. Have you ever imagined a future where Mars, Venus, or even Earth itself stopped orbiting the Sun and were launched into deep space? But before thinking about what would happen to the other planets, there is an even more pressing question. What if Earth was approaching the point of no return? The history of science is full of events that were considered impossible until they happened. What if we are ignoring signs that indicate something is already in motion? Has our planet already undergone small changes that we have not yet been able to detect? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you think the Earth could one day escape its orbit without us immediately noticing? Or do you believe that unknown forces are already influencing our solar system in ways that science does not yet understand? Comment your theory below and let's continue this discussion. In the end, what if the answer to this mystery is already right in front of our eyes, but no one is paying attention? If Earth's orbit were changed, the consequences would not just be astronomical. They would directly affect humanity in ways that no one is prepared to face. And the worst? Some of these changes could be irreversible. Look well. If Earth were to start moving out of its natural orbit, the first signs wouldn't be immediately catastrophic, but they would be strangely disturbing. The weather could start to behave unpredictably. Slightly longer or shorter days and nights could directly affect our biological clock, disrupting sleep cycles, productivity, and even the way we perceive the hours passing. Studies already show that small changes in the length of days can impact mood, increase anxiety rates, and even affect human cognition. But this would be just the first in a series of changes that would become increasingly impossible to ignore. With Earth's new trajectory, the Sun would no longer be exactly where we are used to seeing it. This could directly affect the intensity and frequency of solar storms. Our planet's magnetic field acts like a natural shield, protecting us from cosmic radiation and solar winds. However, if Earth's orbit were altered, this shield could be put to the test like never before. In an extreme scenario, more intense solar storms could hit Earth without us being prepared. Satellites could fail en masse, communication systems could be disrupted, and entire electrical grids could collapse. The technology that underpins our modern world could become unstable or even unusable. And without the internet, without telecommunications, and without reliable electricity, civilization as we know it could regress in a matter of days. But there is an even greater threat. If the change in orbit was severe enough, Earth's own magnetic field could undergo unexpected shifts. Today, we know that the magnetic field already moves naturally, but an extreme gravitational event could accelerate this process in an uncontrolled way. In a critical case, this could trigger a magnetic reversal, where the North and South poles would swap places. This type of event has happened in the planet's geological past, but never while a technology-dependent global civilization existed. If it happened now, compasses would stop working correctly, satellites could be permanently damaged, and solar radiation would penetrate the atmosphere with greater force, exponentially increasing the risk of genetic mutations and diseases. The issue is not just with it could happen, but what could we do to prevent humanity from being caught by surprise? And there is one last question that few dare to ask. If we knew something like this was about to happen, Would the truth be revealed to the world? Or would it be hidden? Does humanity have enough technology to predict an event like this? The answer is partially. Currently, telescopes and satellites constantly monitor the position of the planets, solar activity, and the small gravitational oscillations that occur in the solar system. If an orbital change were underway, the first signs could be detected in astronomical simulations before they become noticeable to us. But there is a problem. Not every anomaly can be predicted in time. If unknown gravitational forces or unforeseen variables came into play, we might not have a clear warning. Some oscillations can take decades or centuries to produce visible effects, making them difficult to detect until it is too late. However, if an orbital shift were actually occurring now, space missions could play a key role. Space exploration is not just limited to the search for extraterrestrial life or the colonization of Mars. One of the most important functions of modern astronomy is planetary defense. Space agencies such as NASA and ESA are already developing projects to monitor cosmic threats and test possible solutions to avoid catastrophes. Recently, the DART, Double Asteroid Redirection Test, mission proved that it is possible to change the trajectory of an asteroid using kinetic impact technology. If a gravitational event represented a real threat, there could be ways to try to fix the problem, but with one important detail: time would be a critical factor. Learning to predict and deal with this type of threat could be essential not only for this century, but for humanity's survival in the future. The more we explore the universe, the more we realize how vulnerable we are to cosmic forces. And if we want to guarantee our long-term existence, we need to understand one thing: the universe is not static, and the solar system can be much more unstable than we imagine. Now think about this. How many people actually know that something like this is possible? This is something few people know about. So, share this video now and bring more people to this conversation. Let's spread this discussion across the cosmos. The truth is that in the face of the forces of the universe, humanity is insignificant. We depend on a cosmic balance that can be altered by factors that we cannot even completely predict. Earth's stability is a privilege that can disappear without warning, and perhaps we are only here today because luck is still on our side. But until when? The August 2025 alignment could be just another astronomical event, or it could reveal secrets about the workings of our solar system that we don't yet understand. What if we are about to witness something that challenges everything we know? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that this alignment can trigger something unexpected? Or do you think we are safe and that this theory is just speculation? Leave your comment below and let's continue this discussion. If exploring mysteries like this fascinates you, know that what you've seen so far is just the beginning. The universe is full of enigmas that defy science and can change our view of reality. Being part of this is more than watching videos. It's embarking on a journey through theories and discoveries that question everything we know. So don't miss out on what's coming up. Subscribe to the channel now and continue this search for the unknown. And if this video has already left you intrigued, wait until you see what comes next. Some answers lead to even scarier questions. The next mystery could change everything.